Hey, it's been a minute, but we are here. We are
What?
here, waiting on y'all.
What y'all doing? I know
What's
y'all
up?
surprised. I know y'all surprised.
Gotta be surprised. We
I
are
know
back.
y'all are surprised. Oh my God. Y'all are like, are they really there? It's really us. It's really us. That's right. We've been gone. But we back.
We're back.
We just wanted to say, hey,
We're back.
y'all good out there? I was asking them what they've been up to since we haven't been seeing y'all. So what y'all been up to? Be sure to type that in. Let us know where you guys are watching us from. We missed y'all. We got a lot going on. There's some good things that we got in store. But we also wanted to talk about a topic tonight. Do you really love me? Do I really love you? Do we really love each other?
Right.
I mean, think about that for a second. Do I really love you? Do you really love me? Do we really love each other? So we're wearing our beautiful purple because many of you said I love that purple. Yes, purple is my favorite color. But we're wearing purple tonight in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So this month is also, in addition to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And not a lot of media, not a lot of mainstream information is given out on domestic violence, but we wanted to take this opportunity to share some information with you. Hence the reason for our topic tonight. Do I really love you? Do I really love you? So let's start a little bit about what domestic violence is and talk about the stats tonight, because a lot of people have preconceived notions of what domestic violence really is. Right. And so as a therapist, I see and hear a lot of people who are in some type of ship, a relationship, a companionship, I don't know ship, a situationship,
a take care of me ship.
Some they can't put a name to it ship. And so even in that, there are signs and symptoms that I see. And sometimes I have to go, do you even recognize what that really is?
Right, exactly.
Do you even know what it is that you're experiencing inside whatever this ship is that you can't identify?
Right.
And so tonight we just want to be transparent, real, raw, and relevant, like we always do. And so Domestic Violence Awareness Month actually got started in 1987. That wasn't that long ago.
Right. Exactly.
But how many of you in your childhood, in your young teenage years, in your young adult years, in your seasoned adult years, or whatever case it may be, can say that you experienced some type of domestic or family violence?
Right, exactly.
Think about that for a second. So you're thinking, oh, wait, no, I wasn't a victim of domestic violence. Didn't nobody beat up on me. Didn't nobody harm or hurt me. But guess what? That's just one part of it.
That's just one.
Domestic violence also includes economics, physical abuse, economic abuse, withholding money, physical abuse, what most of us think of when we think of domestic violence. It also includes sexual abuse. It also includes, check this out, emotional and psychological abuse.
And really those two, I think, can be at the top of the list. I'm not sure.
Here in
she
Albany.
can actually probably attest to the fact that they are people who experience just as much emotional and psychological abuse as there are people who experience physical abuse. As a matter of fact, most times people who experience physical abuse also have to deal with the emotional as well as the psychological abuse, because the psychological comes with the emotional and the emotional comes with the physical. So
exactly.
All of it really ties in together. So just because a person is experiencing abuse physically, you can't overlook the fact that they are also experiencing emotional and psychological, because psychologically it does something to a person to experience that type of abuse.
Exactly.
Yes.
So think about it. 1 in 3 women experience some type of domestic violence.
Wow.
And 1 in 4 men. Take that in for a second. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. That's almost 10 million people a year experience some type of domestic violence. So when we talk about our subject tonight, do I really love you? Listen, we're going to define tonight what love really is.
All right. Okay.
Well, sort of, kind of, almost.
Sounded kind of almost.
Because what we want you to do is think about how you're showing up in these relationships.
Yes, for sure.
Or whatever ship you think you in.
I really need y'all to share this because this is going to be really some valid information, some really good information that you want to pass on to your friends, your family. We're not dealing the whole night with emotion.
No.
With domestic violence. We're dealing with some topics that can really help you to identify, do I really love you? As a matter of fact, the better question is going to be, do I really love me? Because at the end of this, you're going to discover whether you really love you if you've been putting up with some of this that we're going to talk about. Now, let's talk about it.
Because y'all know how we do. We can start off a little serious.
But we're going to get kind of raw up in here tonight.
Then
so
we keep
hit that
real
share button.
Relevant. So, here's the thing.
Let's get it.
The greatest love you can give is the gift of what? Does anybody know?
Self-love.
There you go. Boom. Mic drop. Did y'all get that? The greatest love you can give is self-love. And y'all want me to go scripture on you? Shall I go scripture on you? Come on now. Simple scripture, John 3:16. What does it say?
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish but have what? Everlasting life.
God so loved the world. In order for God to give his only begotten son, guess what he had to have first for himself?
He had to have love for himself.
You can only give what you have.
Right. There you go. You're almost preaching, girl.
Come on now. If you don't have love for yourself, you can't give love to nobody else. The scripture says that God gave his only begotten son. God gave it, which means in order for him to give it, he had to have it first. Think about that for a second.
Preach.
Think about that for a second. In order to give it, you have to have it first. So if we say that Jesus represents love and all that we learn throughout our scriptures, because y'all know I'm a fresh Christian now. I'm a fresh Christian. I didn't grow up in the church, but that I do know. In order to give something, you first have to have it. If we say that Jesus represents love, in order to give love, which was Jesus Christ, the Lord first had to do what? He had to have love first. So when we say, do I really love you? The greatest gift you can give is the gift of self-love.
Yeah.
Because everything that you do outside of that, everything that you demonstrate from that is a reflection of love for yourself first.
Right.
So in order for me to show love to somebody else, I have to first show love to myself first.
Girl, will you preach?
In order for me to demonstrate love to somebody else, I first have to demonstrate love to myself. A lot of people have children over and over and over again, and I'm not saying this is for everybody. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying this for everybody. But you show me a young girl who has child after child after child after child after child, I'll tell you what she's trying to find is love. And I'll tell you this, she's never going to find it in child after child after child after child because she doesn't have love for herself first, because love was never demonstrated to her by somebody else.
What?
We demonstrate to others the love that we have for ourselves. So let me take that one step further. So for those of you who say, well, I love myself because I take myself out to eat, I do this, I take myself to the movies, but what are you putting in your body? How are you taking care of your body? How are you taking care of your mind and your spirit?
Ooh.
How are you taking care of your home? One of the things that I love is when people come to our house, they say, oh, it's so peaceful here. When people come to my office, they say, ooh, it's so peaceful here, because my peace matters. So before I can give peace to somebody else, before I can give patience to somebody else, before I can teach those things to somebody else, I first got to have it. So that's why when people come to our home, they go, oh my God, it's so peaceful here. That's right. But before I can give it to somebody else, it's first got to be demonstrated in my own home. So before I can even demonstrate it in my own home with my husband, I first got to have it with me first. So do I change the atmosphere when I walk in? Absolutely, because if a place is chaotic, let me explain something to you. I will walk in and peace will come to the place that I'm in. A lot of times when I go visit classrooms here in Dougherty County, because I'm a behavior intervention specialist on my day job, that's what I do full time to get the paycheck. Okay, cool. So when I do that, a lot of people say, oh my God, he wasn't doing that before you walked in here. What do you have? I bring peace with me.
Ooh. So
before I can give that to everybody else, I first got to give it to myself first. The Bible says that God gave. In order to give, you got to first have it in your hands yourself. Think about that for a second.
You preaching.
What you want to say, honey?
I ain't got nothing to say.
Come on now.
You killing the game, as always.
So what do you have? When we talk about love, do I really love you? A deeper question is, do you really love yourself first?
That's really the most important question to ask yourself. Do I really love me? Because a lot of times, matter of fact, in most instances, everybody will say, yes, I love me. But your actions prove differently. What you put up with proves differently. How you allow people to talk to you proves differently. If you really love yourself, you ain't getting ready to let nobody call you B, you stupid, you this, you that. No, you can't say you love yourself when you put up with that. I'm sorry, that's just the real deal.
Right.
You got to be able to first have that kind of love for yourself that says, listen, I will not tolerate disrespect. I will not tolerate any of that foolishness. I love myself too much to let you bring chaos to my climate. Are y'all hearing me? Listen to me, Linda. And I'm saying to y'all that you have got to get in tune, in touch with you, or to even better yet say it, you've got to find out what it is about yourself that may cause you to not love yourself as you ought love yourself. Shameless plug. For those of you who are here in Georgia or South Carolina, call the therapist. Now let's get on with the program.
So when you are happy, whole, and healthy, you can holistically love someone else. Let me say that again. When you are happy, whole, and healthy, you can holistically love somebody else.
Holistically.
If you, then they. Get that now. If you first, then them second. So think about this. If you are happy, whole, and healthy, that's healthy mind, body, and spirit, then you can holistically love somebody else.
And let me just add this, because here's what I see a lot of times is that many times people are looking for that other person. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. They're always focusing on what they're not doing.
Right.
And the question becomes,
what you doing?
And the question also becomes, well, if I'm always complaining about it, what is it about me that causes me to stay there and settle for it?
What? You mean it's my fault too?
Yeah.
I got to take some responsibility.
Let me give you a good example of this, right? Watch this, right? I was talking to, I'm not going to give no names, but I was talking to one of my really close friends. They don't even live here in this state. And they were just going, man, that girl crazy. That girl's this, she's that. I said, listen to me. There's no way in the world that you could say she's crazy without you first being crazy. And that's what we do sometimes. We say, oh man, there's this. We throw off on everybody, but you cannot point a finger at nobody else without first pointing it at yourself, because you're the one that's putting up with it. So there's got to be something wrong with you. If you're talking about she crazy, you just as crazy.
Because you putting up with it. Because you involved in the relationship with her. I had many years ago, an older woman tell me this. This was when I was getting married for the first time. And what she told me was this, is you can't expect somebody to put your drawers on you until you put your drawers on yourself. And I never knew what that meant. And I went, what? Now, mind you, she was an older woman. So she said, you got to first put your own drawers on before you can get somebody else to put your drawers on. And I never knew what that meant. So fast forward a few years, I had a conversation with another older woman. And I told her what this older woman said. And she said, you know what that means, don't you? I said, no. She said, you got to first protect yourself first. Underwear, drawers. I mean, don't go commando. Don't go commando. But what she was saying is you got to first protect yourself first before you can try to protect other folks. So that helped me to understand that my peace, my love, my happiness, my health mattered first before anybody else. Now, it took me a marriage dissolving for me to understand that, but I got that information before I was even married. But it took the dissolving of that marriage, the ending of that marriage, my heartache, my heartbreak, for me to understand that, Tracy, first of all, you didn't show up in this marriage.
Mama.
You were so busy trying to be something you weren't, trying to please somebody you couldn't, because you didn't take care of yourself first.
Are y'all listening?
Did y'all get that? I was so busy trying to be somebody I wasn't, trying to make somebody happy I couldn't, because I was not taking care of myself first.
This is good. I don't care what y'all say.
Did y'all get that? So when we think about, do I really love you? The deeper question is, do you really love yourself? Because this is not about the external stuff. You show me somebody who's constantly trying to go, oh, I'm in love with this person. Or what I like even now, honey, is I get energy for who I get energy from.
Oh yeah, they got this crazy stuff going
on
now.
I'm like, okay, because of course you're gonna ask if you're in a relationship with somebody, they say, oh, I get energy from who I get energy from. It doesn't matter if it's a male or a female.
I just say they cray.
And I'm asking the question, when you tell me that, and I'm not saying one way or the other, because I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in, and I don't judge it, but when you tell me that, that lets me know that what you're looking for is something external to bring you joy.
Yes, when it should be internal.
When it should be internal. Did y'all catch that? And so when you're looking for something external, drugs, alcohol, pornography,
sex,
shopping, someone else. Come on now. When you're looking for those things externally to bring you joy, listen, it's going to be like trying to pour something in a bottle that has a hole at the bottom.
Right, exactly.
It's going to be constantly running out, because until you're happy within yourself, people can try to make you happy, but it ain't going to last.
And here's another thing I want to say, because I really want you to hear me on this, that literally when you're happy, whole, and all of that yourself, it's then easier to get that out of a relationship on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Because people, I want to tell you one of the things that has really bothered me for years. I need y'all to hear me on this. I used to always hear people say, man, it's healthy to argue. You're going to have ups and downs in relationships. I believe that you will have some disagreements, but I don't necessarily believe you got to argue. I don't believe you got to fuss. I don't believe you have to do anything because I think that once you're healthy and whole, you then understand how to give that healthy and whole vibe to somebody else. You ain't got
It's like, even if we disagree, we can still disagree in a loving manner. Yeah. That when we disagree, when the disagreement is over, you still gonna come to bed in the same bedroom. You ain't sleeping on the other end of the house because
ain't good.
You know what? I can't.
Listen, let's talk now.
Let's talk.
I really want y'all to hear us tonight, because this is a subject that I really think is very, 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 very important and pertinent for us, because most of the time we, again, look for other people to make us happy, and that will never happen. It won't ever happen. You're going to be like Frankie Beverly and me. You're going to have joy and pain. You're going to have sunshine and rain on a regular basis, because you're looking for somebody to make you happy, when the truth of the matter is true happiness comes from inside.
Exactly. That even in the midst of challenging situations, that you still have joy. So my grandmother passed
about
a month ago, September the 13th, a day after our anniversary. And it was very challenging for me, because I've had my grandmother my entire life. She was 92. And so it was very challenging for me. But even in the midst of losing her, I still had joy, because I had her for 51 years. She was my lunch date twice a week. And so I still had joy. Even in the midst of my tears and me missing her, I still had joy, because I remember how it was to be in her presence. So even though I was sad, even though I was grieving, as I'm still grieving her loss, I still got joy. It still makes me happy to think about her, because the joy that I have, guess what? It's mine. Nothing out there externally makes me joyous. Everything inside of me makes me joyous. Now, the things out here makes me happy. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the joy I have, and even in the midst of grieving the loss of my grandmother, I still got joy. So, let me ask y'all a question.
Let's talk.
How many of y'all, in addition to your self-love, now that we've defined self-love for you, that is not you taking yourself to the movies, that is not you going out to take yourself to dinner, but it's really more about you being healthy, happy, and whole, so that you can holistically show up in a relationship that brings out the best in you. How many of y'all can honestly say, yep, I'm that healthy person, I'm that whole person, I'm that person who can say that, you know what, I can show up holistically in a relationship I got it all, because you know what? I'm showing it to me first. Just like John 3:16, in order for God to give, he had to have it first. In order for you to give, you got to have it first. So do I really love you?
And to thine own self be true, which is one of my favorite quotes.
Sure
be true with yourself. Ask yourself, do you really love yourself? Ask yourself, am I exhibiting any behaviors that may say that I really don't love myself? Am I allowing somebody to cuss me?
No. Somebody... Go back to that question you just asked.
What did I ask?
Am I displaying any behavior? Because we're so quick to we're so quick to focus on other people's behaviors. Am I, y'all got a mirror. You got your cell phone. Put that cell phone to yourself and take that selfie and say, am I displaying any behaviors that says I do not love myself?
Let me throw this out here as well, because one of the things that I really need, especially women, to understand. Sometimes when people send me friend requests, I always go through their page first.
He sure do now.
I do. I don't
just Gadget.
I don't
just
about
to go through
give you a friend request approval. I gotta go on your page and see what you have on your page.
He going now.
And so if you got cussing on there, I don't have you on my page.
Nope.
If you got a whole lot of booty shots, I don't have you on my page.
Nope.
Because for me, you got all that kind of stuff going on. I don't need you on my friend page. And if you got all that type of sharing videos that people are fighting, I don't want you on my page, because that's showing me is that you're very unhealthy. I don't want, and I'm not saying that everybody on my page is healthy, but I am saying that if I even see, because I don't know all of them, and I went through their page and I say, okay, I don't see anything negative, but if I go back through when somebody sends me something and I see something, I just go ahead and unfriend them, because I don't need that on my page. And the point, why am I saying, I'm saying all it because some of you display behaviors that say you don't love yourself. If you got to show booty shots all the time, you don't really love yourself. If you got to have your cleavage showing, you don't really love yourself. You're vying for attention. Stop fooling yourself.
Oh, did y'all get that? Just say ouch.
Just say ouch. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right, so you know how we always do. We're going to give y'all some things to think about. Y'all know we got 7 points. Come on now, the number of completion. We got 7 points for y'all to think about. Do I really love you?
Do I really love you?
That is the question of the night. Do I really love you? Before we get into our points, somebody should be watching this. Come on now, stop playing. You've been having these conversations with them. Just go and hit that share button. Y'all ready? Here we go. Do I really love you? We got 7 points for you. Y'all ready? Point number 1, do I really love you? Here's the question. Do I see you protecting me? Do I see you protecting me? Do I really love you? Do I see you protecting me? And you might ask, well, what protection got to do with it? I'm glad you asked. You want to take that, honey?
What's love got to do with it?
Angela Wells.
What's protection and second-hand emotion? Now, one of the things I want you to hear me on is when we talk about protecting. Mm-hmm. Because the truth of the matter, when we start talking about protecting, we're not talking about protecting you from fighting or from, that is a part of it. But the main thing, am I protecting your space? Am I protecting your emotions? Am I protecting your integrity? It's more than just protection, because when we think about the word protection,
am I protecting your peace?
Or he keeping men off of me, or she keeping no. We're not talking about somebody who calling your phone 100 times a day because you think he protecting you from. Come on now, y'all leave that alone. But the point I'm making is protection comes in a number of ways. The main thing is, are they protecting you? She or he protecting you emotionally, mainly.
Ooh.
Are they protecting you emotionally?
Just clutch your pearls. It's okay. Are you protecting me emotionally?
That's the critical question. Mm-hmm. Are they protecting you emotionally?
Emotionally.
Do they even know how to protect you emotionally?
Come on now.
Can they even be a safe space for you emotionally?
Ooh.
Are y'all hearing me? Listen to me, Linda.
Can they be a safe space for you?
Yes, emotionally.
Think about that. How many of you are in whatever ship you in, whatever ship that is? How many of you can say that the person I'm with is a safe space for me?
Oh, God.
Listen, I have been in relationships before where the person was not a safe space. that I couldn't be who I really was. I couldn't say what I really wanted for fear of judgment. For fear that it would come back on me. That if I say something, they're going to twist it and bring it back up. Yeah. Not right then, but at a later date. They're going to hold it against me. I've been in relationships like that.
And most of us can talk about there was someone who crossed our path who we confided in, if you will, or shared some stuff with, and later on it came back out.
It came back.
Listen to me, Linda. I'm saying to you that there are some people who will unprotect you when you think you're being protected.
Woo.
Did I just say that?
Will unprotect you. Did y'all get that?
Matter of fact, I was looking at an article the other week. Who was that? I think it was Tyrese or somebody was dating this girl from the Dominican Republic, and when they broke up, it wasn't Tyrese, whoever it was, when they broke up, this was just last week, the week before last, they held her kind of hostage to an extent of, watch this, saying that I'm going to post some of these some of these explicit pictures that we have, all because we broke up. Now, let me say something to y'all who out there.
The dating world.
Yeah, the dating world who got all that kind of stuff going on.
Come on, big brother.
Social media will come back to bite you. You trying to figure out, oh, he's so nice to me. He just want me to take these nice pictures out here, so you got your boot tooted. And listen to me, it come back to haunt you later on now. Oh, you doing all this crazy stuff.
Come on now.
you baby, I ain't going to ever expose this. And guess what? You find out later on he done showed his friends. He done, oh, come on now. Y'all act like I don't know what I'm talking about. That's nobody who's going to protect you.
That's it.
You, listen, they talk a good game. He or she, don't matter. Talk a good game, but guess what?
That's it.
Let me hush.
Do I see you protecting me? Point number 1. Y'all got that? Here we go. Point number 2. Whew. Y'all ready? It's gonna get tight.
Y'all writing this down?
I'm trying not to get it tight so quick.
Who taking notes tonight? Who's taking notes? Who? Protecting. Who? Oh, ain't nobody wrote no note on here yet. Y'all better write this. You don't listen. I'm gonna tell you what I tell the guys when I go to the prison.
Come on.
A long pencil is better than a short memory. We're giving y'all some great nuggets tonight, and none of y'all are writing this down.
Come on.
At least on here anyway. Because somebody may come back on here later on, and they may need to know what we talked about. So you need to write that first one down. Do I really love you? Am I protecting you? And protection is not just, it's protecting you emotionally, protecting you spiritually.
Yeah, that's it.
No, let's deal with the spiritual for a second. Because too many of y'all are in a relationship where they can't protect you spiritually at all. Ooh. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You ain't never heard him pray. The only kind of prayer you heard was PREY. He prayed on you to get you. Did I say that? I'm saying you better find somebody who can protect you spiritually. Let's not overlook that. Let's go back and get that one. Because, see, some of y'all got to understand that, he can protect you. Okay. He can say, I ain't going to let nothing happen to you, baby. But the main thing is, watch this, is that he cannot even pray for you. PRAY.
God.
How he going to protect you and your family? How he going to pray over you and your children?
Right. When a storm comes, and a storm is coming, it's inevitable. When a storm comes, he can't even pray for the family. Come on now.
Really?
There will be times when you can't pray for yourself. And you got to be able to go to him or go to her and say, baby, can you pray for me? There will be times when you know their heart is aching, and when they're asleep at night, finally you wake up in the middle of the night and you're praying over them. There will be times when trouble will come to your house, and you got to be able to pray over one another. Can they pray for you? Think about that.
Things to make you go,
You can't give what you don't have.
Oh,
remember our scripture, John 3:16, that God gave. In order for God to give, he had to have first. In order for him to or her to pray for you, they got to be able to pray first. Come on now. Point number 1, do I see you protecting me?
Okay.
Y'all ready?
What's the next one?
Point number 2, y'all ready? Here we go. Do I see you respecting me?
I put my head down on that one.
Respect yourself. See you
respect yourself.
Me. Now, let's talk about
Staple singers. Me.
I thought you were going to do the other one too.
Respect yourself. Ain't nobody gonna give a hoot to you. No. Respect yourself. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about it. See, we don't like boring stuff. Y'all forgive us. I don't like boring at all. I don't like boring.
Bertisha, Angela, and Tamika. What y'all gonna do?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
And listen to me. Seriously now. Respect. Do I really love you?
Okay.
Are they what?
Protecting me.
Protecting me?
And now?
Are they what?
Respecting me.
Let's deal with that for a second. Seriously. When you start talking about are they
just
respecting
breathe. It's okay.
you?
Just let
breathe.
it go.
Are they respecting you?
Yep.
Now listen to me. Now respect comes in a number of forms as well.
Oh, yes.
Hear me good on this, good people.
Yes, Lord.
The main thing I want you to hear me on tonight is when you talk about a person respecting you, we can say again, respecting your boundaries,
yes,
respecting your emotions,
yes,
respecting your thoughts, respecting your differences,
all of that,
respecting
all
that.
Right there.
And then the question that you need to ask yourself is, do you really think that a person loves you when they disrespect you? Come on now, that's so simple. I'm afraid to even talk about it. I'm ashamed to even talk about it. If you got to ask yourself, no, you ain't got to ask yourself that. Forget that. Take that. You ain't got to ask yourself that. If a person disrespects you, they can't love you. Just stop fooling yourself.
Listen,
yo, dumb B, and you're putting up with that. No, you don't love you.
Right.
Period.
Because here's the thing.
End of story.
Here's the thing. When you know your non-negotiables, and we've talked about this a number of times, non-negotiables. Listen, when you are dating, when you are laying the foundation of a relationship, a non-negotiable should be you will not disrespect me. Because here's the thing. A non-negotiable is just that. Non-negotiable.
We're not negotiating on
We ain't
this
negotiating.
There's nothing to talk about.
So the first time it shows up, guess what?
I think you better leave me alone. Pack your bags. Get the
Because
heck
what
on.
you're actually teaching them is if they can do it the first time,
it's gonna happen again.
it can be done the second,
and
it can be done the third, it can be done, and so on and so on. So if it's truly a non-negotiable, it's a non-negotiable. Period. Then you have to be ready to move on the other side of it. So if I lay the groundwork to say, listen, a non-negotiable for me is disrespect, that's it. The first time you disrespect me, and I'm going to give you examples of what disrespect looks like.
Come on, yes.
So that you know.
Yes.
So when disrespect shows up, and I tell you, listen, sweetie, this is one of them times where I told you, don't do disrespect. I don't do disrespect. Okay, I'm done. Because I'm not going to give you permission to do it the second time. Because it was a non-negotiable, and I made it crystal clear, like, we have a non-negotiable. You don't raise your voice at me. That's a non-negotiable.
It's a trigger.
That's a trigger for me, and that's disrespectful to me. And so guess what? He understood it when we were dating. Do you understand it now that we're married for 19 years?
I don't argue no way. I don't yell. I don't scream. I did enough of that in previous relationships.
That's it.
Like,
that's enough. Listen.
Ain't nothing getting cops.
We don't do it.
Now let me just talk about this disrespect for a second, because even at the church, forget relationship for a second.
Okay.
Even at the church when we had the Bible study, especially with our kids, mostly with our kids, I don't deal with it from adults, but especially kids, I don't play with disrespect from kids. I used to tell the kids, now listen now, if some of these teachers come back in here talking about y'all with disrespectful, come see me. I kept what you call a mind changer in my desk. Mind changer, a paddle. And I didn't get no parents' permission. So quite naturally, you had them kids to come in, and they want to try, Pastor. They want to try me to see if I meant what I said and if I said what I meant. Oh, God, I had a teenager one day, and he tried me, Deb. He tried me. And so at the end of the Bible study, I said, come on in my office. Put your hands on the desk. You ain't going to do nothing to me. Oh, my temperature went up to about 130 real quick. I went from 0 to 130 real quick, Brother Reginald. I went from 0 to 130 and said, put your hands on that desk. He said, I ain't doing that. I told the guy who was in there with me, put his hands on that desk. I took that paddle and wore him out. And every time he saw me after that, if he had his pants sagging, I didn't have to say nothing. He pulled them things up because I didn't play about disrespect. Here's the moral of the story. If you get it straight the first time, if you listen, let them know that you mean what you say the first time, it won't happen no more.
Won't happen no more.
Won't happen no more.
Did y'all get that?
I changed his mind.
That's it.
Are y'all hearing me? No.
That's a non-negotiable. That's it. So the first point, protecting The second point, respecting. Here's the third point. Do I see you? Being patient with me.
Being patient with me.
Being patient.
Can I go gospel on for a minute?
Go gospel, baby.
Please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. Okay, we good.
What level was that?
You had it. We were in unison that time. We wasn't in the part that we break off in the coat. You know,
okay.
Okay.
All right, I got it. Did y'all get that? Patient. Do I see you being patient with me? Now, there's a difference in patience and respect. Okay. So don't get that twisted. Be like, oh, okay, I'm going to just be patient while they be disrespectful. Are you freaking kidding me? No. Don't get that twisted. Listen, there's a difference in being patient. Being patient means that, number one, we grew up in different households, so we have difference of opinions, that we have different upbringings, which means that we have different foundations. In getting to know a person, you do have to be patient with them, but you don't have to allow them to disrespect you.
Did y'all catch that?
Did y'all get that? Because I don't want you to get that twisted. Well, we in a relationship, I think, and I'm just being patient with him. No, you can't be patient with him while he cussing you out. No, you can't be patient with him while he going around with other women and then not giving you the time of day when you know he out there with other women and you've caught him and there's evidence. No, you can't be patient with her when she calling you everything but a child of God to your face and throwing you out the house. No, that's disrespect. Don't get it twisted. There's a difference between patience and disrespect. Did y'all get that? What I'm talking about in being patient is being patient enough to understand that when there is a disagreement, when we don't see things eye to eye, I can be patient enough with you to give you the space that you need so that both of us can come back together and have this discussion together. I can extend patience to you. But not only that, when something happens, when you don't show up the way I need you to show up, when you're not in the space that I need you to be in, that sometimes life does happen and we just can't be everywhere at all times. I'm patient with you enough to know, you know what? You got other obligations too. Some of us have a job that we have to stay in and we can't do certain things.
Right.
And so I'm patient enough with you to understand that you've got other obligations, and I'm okay with that. I'm extending patience to you. Patience also says that while you're learning who I am, because guess what? I'm a woman and I change. Who I was when I was 25 is not who I was at 35, is not who I was at 45, who's not the person I'm going to be at 55. But as I'm changing, my husband has patience with me. Patience in that sometimes the bedroom is a little cold because, you know, sometimes I was having a hot flash and he went and bought me a little air conditioner and he's cold. Patience is that he's going to put an extra quilt on him because the wife was having a hot flash. That's patience. Patience is just knowing that, you know what, this too shall pass and we're going to still be okay when it passes. That's the patience I'm talking about.
Now, let me just talk about the other side of this patience. Some of y'all been patient with that joker for 13, 15, 20 years, and he still ain't made no decision. I ain't talking about like that now. Because it don't take a man that long to figure out, or a woman in that matter. Now, you got women who do the same thing.
Yes.
So we ain't talking about that kind of patience.
We ain't talking about that
Or listen, they still trying to produce a rap career for the last 15, 20 years, and you
paying
45. All the bills. No, and you footing all the bills.
Come on now.
Child boo. How y'all say it down here in the South? Child boo.
They still trying to find themselves. I go to work every day. What? They stuck in the bar, yeah, and eating all your groceries, and they got the car too, and they want you to put gas in the car. Come on now. Our topic tonight is, do I really love you? We're asking, love is protecting. Love is respecting. Love is being patient.
Yes.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Y'all getting all this?
Y'all getting all this?
Okay. Y'all ready? Okay. Here's point number 4. Ooh, I love this one. I love this one. Do I really love you? Guess what?
Let's hear it.
Do I really love me? Do I really see you listening?
Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it?
Do I see you listening to me?
What?
Do I really see you listening to me? But here's the part. Before a person can listen to you, do you even know what you're saying to them?
Ooh, girl, you hit too hard right there now.
Okay, so let me, cause I want y'all to understand this, cause I ain't gonna shout this. I ain't gonna be loud with this, because I need y'all listening and paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get frustrated when other people are not listening to us. But what's your delivery style?
Ooh, delivery.
Think about that for a second. Because if you screaming at me, if you cussing at me, if you yelling at me, if you calling me everything but a child of God, if you comparing me to my blankety blank daddy, if you comparing me to my blankety blank mama, if you comparing me to everybody else other than me, think about it. So before a person can listen to you, what's your delivery style? If you grew up in dysfunction, raise your hand. If part of that dysfunction included your parents cussing, fussing, and screaming at each other and beating on each other, raise your hand. Okay, so when it comes to your delivery, and you saying he doesn't listen to me or she doesn't listen to me, guess what? I ain't gonna ask them first while they're not listening. I'm gonna ask you about your delivery style.
Okay.
You can't expect a person to listen to you if you cussing at them, if you screaming at them, and if you calling them everything but a child of God. You cannot, and that includes your children, you cannot expect them to listen to you.
My friend Tolan Morgan, fellowship in church in Warner Robins, he said this the other week, and it's really powerful. He says, say what you mean, but don't say it mean. Come on now, you know that was good. Thank you, Pastor Tolan Morgan. He said, say what you mean, but don't say it mean.
That's it.
Because if you say it mean, I'm not listening at that point.
I'm not.
I'm like Charlie Brown. How's he do it?
Wah, 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 wah. That's what you sound like. You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher to me.
Now, let me just go back for a second, because you said, when you talk about, are you listening to me? And you asking about the delivery. The next part I want to add to that is, are you saying anything, period?
Oh. Did y'all get that?
I mean, are you even saying anything?
Come on now, honey. Make it plain. Make it plain. Make it plain.
I ain't gonna go no further with that.
You got to.
Because some of them, they ain't saying nothing but some shallow stuff. Okay, I'm sorry.
Did y'all get that?
Okay, come on, let's go. Let me. I'm always serious, but the point I'm making is, are you listening? Because here's the thing, and a lot of times people don't really understand this, because, I always tell parents. Well, let me just say this first. I absolutely hate hearing parents cuss at their children. When I tell you that's
like fingernails on a chalkboard. And if you're not old enough to know about that sound, Google it. Fingernails on a chalkboard.
I cannot stand to hear parents cuss at their kids. That's like a major turnoff. I said, whoever that is, if y'all on here, y'all are toxic. Let me just tell the truth. You are toxic. You're killing their self-esteem. You're killing their worth when you do that type of stuff. And you're probably doing it because it happened to you. And that's whether from your parents or from a relationship in the past. And that's it's the music you're listening to.
Right. It's and that's okay because you're not too old that you can't learn.
That's a learned behavior. There you go. And one of the hardest things in life to do is to unlearn what you've learned.
But that requires you to be conscious.
It requires you to be conscious.
Wake up. And
be conscious. That is not normal. And what ends up happening is we grow up in abnormality thinking that it's normal. It's not normal to cuss at your children. No, I'm sorry.
That's not normal.
Now, I forgot my thought that I was going to say before I say all that, but I just felt like I needed to say that. So what was I getting ready to say? I don't know. So let's go to the next point. It might come back to me.
Here's point number 5. Oh, Lord, I can't. I'm so sorry. Here's point number 5. Do I see you building with me?
Oh, yeah, we got to get that one.
Do I see you building with me? Come on now, let's talk about that.
Now, we got to deal with this one now. Do I see you building with me? Right? Let me start here. Here's what I want you to understand. Is that many times people get into relationships, watch this, trying to build the person. Let me just stop right there first. Trying to build the person. Trying to build the person to be who you want them to be. But here's the problem. If you take in a stray dog.
Okay.
And you get that stray dog fed, you get that stray dog back to health. Don't be surprised at some point if that stray dog runs off somewhere else later on. May or may not. That's neither here nor there. But my point is, many times, watch this, some of y'all can talk about how you took in someone who was broken. You
got them on their feet.
Got them on their feet.
Come on now.
And they went and finished the foundation with somebody else. Do I have anybody on here who can say, you know what, you're right, sir, you're right, Pastor, you're right, Lawrence, whatever you want to call me. I'm saying to you, Big Brother Lawrence, there are some of you who are watching me today. You took somebody under your wings, and I'm saying under your wings, you got in a relationship with them. They weren't doing this, they weren't doing that. You helped them to understand life a little bit better. And guess what they did? They started building with somebody else. After you got them up. Do I have anybody that I'm talking to on here? I don't want y'all to think I'm making this stuff up. So here's what I want to say to you now. Here's what I want to say to you. Are they building with you? Listen to me. Here it is. When Adam was, let me say it like this. When God decided to bring Eve into Adam's life, Adam was already on a mission. Adam was already working in purpose. Eve just came in to help him fulfill what God already commissioned him to do. Don't you miss where I'm going with this. I'm saying to you that you ought not have anybody to step into your life who doesn't know where they're going, who doesn't know what they're doing. Are y'all hearing me? I'm going to say it again. When God decided, he said to Adam, it's not good for you to be alone. Adam was like, man, I didn't even know I need nobody. I'm chill, I'm cool. But God says, when I bring this person to you, listen to me. He said they're going to be a helpmeet, somebody who fits into the plan, somebody who's going to build with you, somebody who's going to make some things happen for you, somebody who's going to make life easier for you, not going to make your life bitter, but they're going to make your life better. And some of y'all are in relationships where they're not trying to make your life better. As a matter of fact, they're not even trying to build with you. Say amen, somebody.
Amen. Did y'all get that? All right.
Are you? Am I even included in the plans? Come on now. You included in the sexual healing, but you ain't included in the foundation of building something that's going to last for last. What we ain't saying?
No. What I was going to say is, now I'll give an example. Are they in the plans? Sometimes you all's plans not sometimes, all the time, you all's plans should be discussed. So there were plans that require the two of you all having conversations with one another. Let's start there. Having conversations with one another before they take place. So I'll give you an example. When I got ready to go back to school to get my doctorate degree, there was a conversation that took place that in order for me to achieve one of the goals that I had for myself, we had to have a conversation about my plans because my plans affected him. Does that make sense? When he got called to be pastor, his plans affected me. It required me to get another job in another city. When he became pastor, his plans affected me. When I got ready to open up the business, even though it's our business, there was a conversation that had to take place because he was employee number 2. In order for the business to work, there had to be a conversation that took place. Plans had to be discussed that required both of us to agree and sign off on it. That didn't mean that he was out there doing his own thing and I'm over here doing my own thing and we hope one day we come together. No, at that point, he's going east, I'm going west, and we ain't gonna never meet. But there had to be a discussion of us building things together. Does that make sense? And even with me going into South Carolina, becoming a licensed therapist in South Carolina, that's still building. We discussed that. There were some plans that had to take place. Even when we got ready to move into this house, even with us getting rental property, there were plans. We were building, and those conversations had to be had. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense?
Okay, we just saying.
Yeah, we just saying.
All right, here's number 6. Y'all ready? Because it's time for us to go. It's 7:56. It's time for us to go. Y'all know how we like to do.
I tell you, we're gonna get all this information. I know 35 minutes. We're gonna be on 30 minutes. I said, I'm sorry, that won't happen.
First of all, he let me ramble in the
Great
beginning.
intentions.
He let me ramble.
No, that wasn't rambling. That was giving some good information.
He really should have cut me off.
No,
but here we go. Point number 6. Y'all ready? Point number 6. Do I see you? Here we go. Because some of y'all got this issue right here.
Let's hear it.
Y'all ready? Just take a breath. It's okay. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Woosah.
Here we go. Do I see you trusting me?
Trusting.
But a deeper question is, do I even trust myself?
Ooh-wee.
Do I see you trusting me? But a deeper question is, do I even trust myself. Some of you have been in relationships in the past, or whatever ship you want to call it, or even whatever it was. Some of y'all have been involved in something in the past that left you broken and in bondage. Not somebody else's bondage, but your own bondage. That has left you broken, not at the hands of somebody else, but broken at your own hands. And so here you are trying to get in whatever ship it is that you're trying to get into. But here's the problem. You don't even trust yourself to make the right decision. And here's what I hear often. I have trust issues. And guess what? Your trust issues ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but yourself.
Ooh. Did y'all catch that? We said it at the same time. Boy.
Did y'all get that? Your trust issues has nothing to do with anybody else but trusting yourself first. The more you trust yourself at making better choices and better decisions, the better you will be at choosing the people that you let into the inner sanctum of you.
Inner what?
Inner sanctum.
Ooh, I like that word.
I'm just saying.
You got some big words tonight.
There are people who should be on the outer courts. There are people who should be on the inner courts. And then there are people who should be in the holies of holies. But then into the inner sanctum, there should only be a small group of people. But here you are not being able to protect your own boundaries. So people who should not be led into the inner sanctum have access. And those are the people who hurt you. Those are the people who hold you, that make you hold yourself in bondage. But here's the problem. You don't have trust issues with the world. You have trust issues with yourself.
I just dropped the mic.
You did?
That was the iPad, but
okay. Did y'all
you were talking
that?
So good I had to drop something.
Did y'all get
that? I
dropped
it like it was hot.
So it's not that do I trust you, meaning the other person, but do I even trust myself? Do I trust myself to love myself enough to give myself to the right people to begin with?
Ooh. Say that one more time. That comes with rewind.
I don't even know what I said. But do I trust myself enough to give of myself to the right people?
Ooh.
So let me take it down a notch, because I need you to really hear what I'm saying. The better you are at trusting yourself, the better you are at loving yourself, the better you will be at giving yourself to the right people.
And here's the thing. Most times when you have issue with trust, that most times the person that you're in a relationship with currently or have been in with previously, they were not even the main culprit, if you will, of your lack of trust. And so you have past relationships where you did not trust because that person may have cheated or whatever the case may be. So now the next person in your mind is going to do the same thing. So you're looking for it.
And it has nothing to do with that other person.
Nah.
You did not do your own homework on yourself enough to know, wait a minute, I'm seeing some red flags, or I'm seeing some pink flags, or like I say, flags on fire. When you see those things, guess what? Danger, Will Robinson, go the other way. But here you are, oh, I see the red flag, but I'm going to still love him. Oh, I see the red flag, but that's my girl, that's my ride or die. No, it's not. When you see a red flag, guess what? That's danger. Move to the other side. When you see crazy walking down the street, all you got to do is cross over to the other side. You ain't got to engage crazy. But here you are saying now, I got trust issues. No, your trust issues ain't with other folks, it's with yourself. Think about that for a second.
Pass the plate.
If I do a better job of loving myself, if I do a better job of trusting myself, if I do a better job of knowing who I am and whose I am, then I do a better job of giving myself to other people. And I won't give myself to some old joker that's only using me. Then I won't give myself to some old hoochie mama who only want me for my money. Think about that for a second.
Girl, you killing the game, as always.
Think about it. Stop looking for other people to fill a void. You fill your own void first. And then they can do it around you. They fill the space around you, but you fill your own cup first. Man. The deeper question is, can I trust me first?
Wow.
Before I can trust you, can I trust me first? Do I know me? Do I know myself well enough to trust myself first? Think about that for a second.
Wow.
When you go shopping, ladies, let me pick on y'all for a second. When you go shopping for let's just talk about a purse, because we love purses now. I love me a good purse. You know, when you go shopping for a purse, when you put that purse on, you look at that purse, you touch that purse, you feel it. You imagine yourself with that person, whatever outfit you're going to wear that purse with. You look inside the purse to make sure the purse will fit everything that you need it to fit that day when you're carrying that purse. You make sure that purse is the right size. You make sure that purse is the right color. You make sure that purse is the right texture. You make sure that purse will fit for the occasion that you buying that purse for. Whether it's an occasion for going out to a nightclub, whether it's an occasion for going out to church, whether it's an occasion for going out to dinner, or whether or not it's a big carry-all because you're going on a trip. But you look at the purse, you dissect the purse, you put it on your shoulder, you go look in the mirror to see how you look with that purse. Let me ask this question. How many of y'all do that when it comes to relationships?
Wow. Wow. Before you get into bed, huh?
That's it.
Ooh.
How many of y'all do that when it comes to your relationships?
Wow.
Think about that. Guys, guys, okay, y'all want me to go down y'all?
Go down there.
Okay, so let's talk about it. When you're looking for that car, okay, you think about the car, you start looking for it online. You look at the specs, you look at the size of the engine, you look at the gas mileage, you look at how far it's going to take you to get the car from where it is to your house. Then when you go look at the car, how many of y'all gonna buy a car without test driving it? Ain't too many of y'all finna do that, especially if you old school. You gonna drive that car.
Don't use that test driving analogy because they test drive the woman, so you got to find something
But
else.
I'm coming back for that. You're not gonna bring home a car that's gonna require too much work. Think about that for a second. Ooh. You're not finna do that because you know the time and energy. Check this out. And the money that you're going to have to sink into that car in order to, and some of y'all like restoration. Some of y'all know, but we're not talking about restoration cars. I'm not talking about antique cars. I'm talking about cars that you're driving every day. You're not going to spend a whole bunch of money on a car that you got to restore to bring up to be able to drive it every single day. You're not going to do that because it's going to what? Cost you too much. And before you even put that much money in it, you're going to say what? It's not worth it. So, ladies, gentlemen, before I can trust the world out there, I've got to learn to trust myself first. Because if I don't trust myself first, it's going to cost me more than what I'm willing to pay.
And here's the thing I want to say, and we got one more after this. The thing about it is one of the quotes that I used before, and I think I need to say it now because of her analogy on the pocketbook and the analogy on the car for the fellas. The one thing I want y'all to hear me on, you cannot continue to find people who you think fit your fantasy. You got to find people who fit your future, because some of y'all fellas are doing the R. Kelly thing. You're looking at a woman and you're saying stuff like, you remind me of my Jeep, I want to ride you. Listen, that's old. That ain't going to last. Y'all better hear me. That's not going to last. Listen to me. You got to have a vehicle that can help you get down the road.
Right. That's it.
You got to have a vehicle that helps take you where you need to go.
Where you need to go.
And the problem is many of y'all are just hanging out with people who can only take you nowhere.
Shallow. That's it. It's not that you have a problem trusting the world. You have a problem trusting yourself. And last but not least, do I see you what? Sacrificing for me.
Sacrificing for me.
Do I see you sacrificing for me?
You can actually go back to the scripture.
I was about to say, go ahead, honey.
No, I'm saying.
End it up for us.
No, I'm saying because the Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave. He sacrificed his only son. He didn't have any more. And the thing about it is, in a relationship, you should see some sacrificial love going on. You should see where y'all are sacrificing one for the other, that there's no way for you to be, no, I ain't say there's no way because some of y'all are in it, but there's no need for you to be in a relationship where you fall into a hard time and you don't have nobody sacrificing to help you. There's no need for you to have your car, in the shop, and you're trying to figure out how to get the money, but you call yourself in a relationship and they're not sacrificing to help you. Listen, I don't know what kind of relationship you call that. You need to have somebody who
sacrificing.
Yeah.
Remember John 3:16, that God so loved the world that he gave. Remember we said you can only give what you got in your hand. You can only give what you got in your heart. You can only give what you got in your soul and your spirit. Think about it. If you don't have it, you can't give it. Sacrifice is giving. You sacrifice by giving to other people. There are times when he lets me sacrifice our time together.
Yeah. So she can make some things happen.
So I can make some things happen.
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing our time, but guess what? I only sacrifice after we plan to build.
Yeah.
We building something. So in order for us to sacrifice some of our Fridays together, I gotta have a conversation with him. So what are you sacrificing? Listen, I ain't talking about dying on the cross for nobody.
Ooh.
Did you catch that? I ain't talking about dying on the cross for nobody. Check this out. if you hadn't done 1 through 6 first. Did y'all get that?
Did y'all get that?
If you hadn't done 1 through 6 first, this is not the person you died on the cross for. Do I believe that this man right here would give his life for me? For real? Do y'all think that he wouldn't? He would. But guess what? Before he is willing to sacrifice for me, he's got to see 1 through 6 happen first.
And some of y'all got on here late, but 1 through 6, protecting, respecting.
Come on. Listening. Yes.
Trusting.
Yes. Building. Yes. Yeah. Being patient. Yeah. 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Before we sacrifice for each other, 1 through 6 got to take place first.
Yes.
So here you are sacrificing, and that's number 1 for you. Are you kidding me? Ain't nobody earned that from you. Listen, God said that he gave his son. And I know what y'all saying. Well, if you're going to use that scripture, T, we didn't deserve it from God. But guess what? We learned from him. He's our teacher first.
Ooh.
Think about that. Did y'all get that? So we hope tonight that y'all have enjoyed the conversation that we had with Sheltered In with the Nightings. We still calling it Sheltered In? We still calling it Sheltered In. We can call it kicking. You can call it what you want to call it. Kicking it with the Nightings. Whatever y'all want to call it. Just call it good information when we come on here. That's all. Just call it that. That's okay. That's it. We appreciate y'all joining us. And we love y'all, seriously. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We hope that tonight something has been said that would totally bless your hearts, bless your spirits. We are wearing purple in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So listen, if this is your first time, put on here your first time. We didn't even introduce ourselves because most of the people who are on here, they've been watching us for a while. Let me just get my name. My name is Lawrence Knight. Some of y'all don't even know our names. That's a shame. What? My name is Lawrence Knight, and I'm actually a pastor of St. James Baptist Church, Baconton, Georgia. I live in Albany, Georgia, but I'm also have a book out called If It's Love, It Will Last. The book called If It's Love, It Will Last. The book is about building solid, godly relationships. Some of the chapters is called What is Love? Why Men Have Not Learned to Love. A Woman's Expectations. Here's My Heart. If it don't fit, don't force it. Can I be me? That's it. Can I, got all kinds of chapters in there. And listen, I am appreciative of y'all coming on, and that's Dr. Tracy Knighton. She is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia and now in South Carolina. And hopefully we're going to venture off into some other states pretty soon and bring, good therapy to your area. We appreciate y'all coming on. If y'all have been blessed tonight, I need y'all to just show a little love before y'all get off of here. Show a little love before y'all get off of here, if you don't mind. Just show a little love before y'all get off of here tonight to let us know that y'all appreciate us coming on here tonight. Now, y'all take care. We out. We out. Forevermore. Forevermore. Ever. Forevermore. Take care. Appreciate y'all.